What's up? Doing a little dance for you because it's Saturday. So, this week on the Ninjababes Podcast, it is part 2 of Your Thoughts Determine Your Reality. It's episode number 25. So maybe you're listening to the previous episode, episode 24, part 1 of Your Thoughts Determine Your Reality, and you were like, this is cool, Kara, but I kind of just think my personality is pessimistic. Or if I get my hopes up and then my hopes are crushed, I won't be disappointed. Well, I want to speak to that a little bit. Your personality is literally made up by what you think. Your brain carves out these pathways of thoughts that you've had become easier to think because you're practicing those thoughts. I like to think about them like little rivers. Once you start a trickle of water and a stream, the more that stream is flowing, the more carved out and eroded that little path in the dirt becomes. The more free-flowing it is, it takes sediment with it. That's how all that works, basically. And so it becomes easier for the water to flow, in a sense, because it's eroding the path. And so similarly, in your brain, these neural pathways are formed as you think thoughts, and it becomes like a pattern. Even like when you work out and you're learning a new technique, at first it feels awkward, but then it becomes like muscle memory, we say, and it's really easy to do something without having to think about it because your body has formed a habit. So in your brain, the thoughts that you think become like habits, and those habits in turn form what we like to call personality. So people can change their personalities, maybe some a lesser degree than to others, depending on how hard you're working to try and change. And we've been talking about like introverted versus extroverted. When I was in middle school and growing up, I was extremely introverted. I was shy. I didn't like being in front of people, but at the same time, somewhere on the inside, I did like being in front of people, but it just like, I was shy, and so like I didn't know how to like get myself into those situations. But then sometimes when I was in those situations, I liked it. Kind of weird, right? But then through college, once I became more confident in myself and just was comfortable being myself, I became way more extroverted, but I wasn't thinking thoughts of negativity, thoughts of my shyness defining me. I was thinking thoughts of an empowered person and believing in myself, believing in my own skills, believing in my own humor, that it was funny and that it was mine, and that's all it needed to be. I didn't need to change to become like somebody else. In a way, my personality did change a lot from middle school to now. I feel like a totally different person in the form of my confidence. Certain aspects of who I am have always been the same, but in that sense, I definitely feel like I went from being a very introverted person to a much more extroverted person. And that's something that I sort of trained myself, and it changed over time. So my point is, if you are feeling like, I'm just a pessimistic person, I just don't have a lot of confidence, and that's why these things in my life aren't going the way I want them to go, and that's just part of my personality. I think that your thoughts literally do determine your reality, in the sense of what you're thinking is what ends up happening in the world around you. What you think determines the things that you're going to say, the actions that you're going to take, and thus all of those things affect what happens around you and affect your reality. So as you begin to be able to recognize those negative thought spirals, neutralize them, recognize where you're at, and then begin to set a goal of how to build a positive thought spiral, you will see changes in your life. So make sure you tune in Tuesday for this week's episode of the Ninjababes Podcast. Be strong, be you, be a Ninja Babe.